friends, we are going to be talking about saving and spending and income during our lesson this week. We are going to read the story, The Berenstain Bears' Trouble with Money. Before we get started, I will have a few questions for you. So because this isn't a live lesson, I'm going to ask the question. I just want you to think about it and then answer it to yourself. Do you have a piggy bank or a savings account? And if you do, are you saving for something important? And maybe how long have you been saving? So think about those questions as we begin our unit. We're going to be talking about trouble with money and the reasons why somebody would save and the reasons why somebody would spend. So as we listen to the story, I want you to be thinking about those things. Brother Bear and Sister Bear knew quite a lot about the ways of the bear country. They knew where the most beautiful wildflowers grew. They knew where the wild berries were and the thickest and the juiciest. They knew where the best spot for watching sunrises and sunsets. They knew where all of the best honey trees were. They even knew a very special place where you could almost always see a rainbow from a secret space behind the waterfall. But there were some things that they didn't know very much about. One of those things Brother and Sister Bear didn't understand very well was money. Oh, they knew money was fun to have and even more fun to spend. And whenever they got some, as a present or for doing a chore for a neighbor or for no reason at all from Grizzly Gramps, who tended to spoil them, or from Papa Bear, who spoiled them even more. They ran as fast as their legs could take them to the Bear Country Mall, and they spent it. For a honeycomb on a stick, or a glider with loops, or a tiny little mouth organ that played only 3 little notes. They never bought anything sensible, and they hardly ever saved. Once in a while, Sister put money in her piggy bank, but she usually took it right back out again if she had a chance to cool off her hot little hand. Brother didn't even have a piggy bank. Mama was becoming concerned about the cubs' carefree, spendthrift way with money. I think Brother and Sister should have a regular allowance, she said one evening when she and Papa were working on the family books. An allowance, said Papa. Yes, so that they can learn to use their money sensibly, to save, to plan ahead. Oh no, said Papa. They're much too young for that sort of thing. Let them enjoy themselves. They'll have to worry about money soon enough when they're grown-ups, he added with a sigh. But it was Papa who first lost patience with their carelessness about money. It happened one day when the cubs had been at the mall spending some pennies a neighbor had given them for walking her dog. That was when they saw the new video game. It was called Astro Bear, and it looked very exciting. A video game at the mall, Papa shouted. You must think I've made of money. The cubs thought no such thing, but they pictured it. It seemed very strange. Mama could see that they were puzzled and explained. Made of money is just a figure of speech, my dears. That's when the cubs realized that the situation was serious, because Papa Bear only used figures of speech when he was upset. You must think money grows on trees, he shouted. Another figure of speech. Video games indeed, he continued, becoming more and more upset. There was no such thing as video games when I was a cub. Why, I didn't even know what money was until I was almost grown. Precisely, my dear, interrupted Mama Bear. And that's why it might be a good time to start Brother and Sister on a regular allowance, so that they can... Absolutely not, roared Papa, knocking over a chair. They must earn their money. That's what life is about. Working, earning money, saving for a rainy day. The cubs knew how very serious the situation must be. Papa had used 3 figures of speech and knocked over a chair. They decided right then and there to mend their careless, spendthrift ways. Turned out that the cubs were very good at earning money once they set their minds to it. First, they gathered wildflowers from their special places they knew about. Then they made them into bouquets and sold them by the side of the road. Business was very good. They gathered those fat, juicy wild berries and sold them door to door. Business was very, very good. Brother and sister were turning out to be even better at making money than they had been at spending it. They organized guided tours of Bear Country's finest beauty spots. Sister's piggy bank was jammed full. They started a very successful pet minding service. Brother had to borrow Mama's sugar bowl to keep the extra money in. At first, Papa was very impressed and pleased. But then the cubs started to sell maps showing the locations of all of the best honey trees. Papa began to have doubts. Those honey trees are a family secret, he complained. The cubs don't seem to understand that some things are more important than money. They've gone to caring a little about money to caring too much. Why, just look at them. They're turning into greedy, selfish little misers. Right before our eyes, he continued. He pointed to the cubs, who did indeed look like little misers, greedily counting their money. Cubs, said Papa in a sternest voice, we're going to have another little talk. But before he could start his speech, the cubs took all of the money that they had earned selling flowers and berries, doing chores, minding pets, selling honey trees, and dumped it into his lap. Here, Papa, said Brother, this is for you. That's right, said Sister. We thought if we made more money for you, you wouldn't have to worry about it so much. We hope it's enough. Papa was so startled and so embarrassed at having been so wrong about them that he was speechless. That's very generous, said Mama. It's quite a sum of money and I know Papa appreciates it. But I have what may be a better idea. Papa does worry about money, of course. Most mamas and papas do from time to time. But what Papa is really worried about is you. He wants to be sure you understand that there's more to know about money than how to spend it. You know what I think, said Papa? I think we should start brother and sister on a regular allowance so that they can learn to use money sensibly, to save, to plan ahead. An excellent idea, said Mama, smiling. What about the money we earned? Asked the cubs. You earned it and it's yours, said Mama. What I suggest is that we take it down to the mall and put it into the Bear County Bank. Good suggestion, said Papa. The money can be your nest egg. Oh dear, cried the bear cubs. Another figure of speech? And a very appropriate one, said Mama. She explained that the nest egg is the one that the farmer leaves in the nest to hatch another chick. When you put money in a bank, it hatches interest. Interest? Asked the cubs, puzzled. The bank will pay you for leaving your money there. It's called interest. That day, the Bear family went to the bank and opened an account for the cubs. It happened that the bank was right next to the video arcade. Say, that looks interesting, said Papa when he saw the Astro Bear game. Let's give it a try. So the Bear family gave the Astro Bear game a try. Papa ended up with the lowest score. You know, he said, we didn't have video games when I was a cub. Will you give me another chance at this sometime? Anytime at all, said brother and sister, giving their Papa a great big hug. And that was Trouble with Money by the Berenstain Bears. So what I want to talk about is some ways that you can save your money, as well as maybe some reasons for spending money, because I don't want you to have this impression that spending money is terrible and you should save all your money, because those were kind of the things that they were talking about in the story. That there's two different types of people. There's spendthrifts, and that was people that spend their money carelessly on whatever. And then they also talked about something called a miser. And a miser was somebody that saves all their money and doesn't ever spend it and refuses to spend a dime on anything. And I think of two characters from books or movies that remind me of a spendthrift and remind me of a miser. I think of Jack and the Beanstalk, who just randomly bought the beans because he was excited about them, and didn't even think about how he was supposed to sell the cow for food and milk. So a spendthrift is somebody that spends no matter what. A miser reminds me of Ebenezer Scrooge from, I don't remember the name of the book, but Ebenezer, I think it was the Christmas Story or something, but he was the one that he would earn money and then he refused to buy anything. So he was extremely frugal about what he spent his money on and refused to like pay his employees and that kind of thing. So there's people that save their money but are saving it and refusing to spend it. They don't really have a purpose for why they're saving it. And then a spendthrift is somebody that spends no matter what. So those are the two different types of ways that you can use your money in maybe like a negative way, but there are some positive ways to save your money, and there's some things that you need to spend your money on. So some positive ways that you can save your money is to think about the future and think about maybe even college or a car or something that you are looking forward to when you're older. You can even be a way that you can take care of your family. I think of like medical bills and things that you are maybe not preparing for right now, but things that could happen. And then larger purchases in the future. So maybe looking forward to purchasing a house or purchasing even a new toy. Could be something that you right now are saving for. It doesn't have to be way in the future. It could just be a little bit in the future. Some things that maybe you have to spend money on could be things like when you're an adult, you have to pay for your rent or pay for your home. Food and clothes, that could be even something that you pay for when you're a teenager. You have to, buy your own lunch and stuff. And then it helps you in the moment. So sometimes you have to spend money at that exact moment for something like going and getting a haircut or getting your dog groomed. Those are things that, obviously you have to consistently do to keep up. So those are some things that you could save and spend.